So here is a full screen log thing. Let's see here. And move the aspect ratio one sec. Okay, there. And move me down here to the bottom. Alright, so here we go. Let's go back to some progression pulls. And I want to just show like a raid leader. If you guys aren't familiar with World of Logs, I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough here on like a World of Logs fight. So let's go to, actually let's just go to this past month. Let's see, last week we have Tuesday, Madness of Deathwing. Alright, so I'm going to link you guys a parts. You can follow along with me if you guys want. Okay. We're going to go to the Madness of Deathwing try number 1. Okay, this was a wipe that we had last week. Alright. I'm going to paste this in chat. You guys can follow it and follow along with me. And some of you that are really experienced with World of Logs, that's cool. This will be more of a just like, oh, I already know how to do that. You know, that's good. More on you if you know how to do it. But there's a lot of people who don't understand how to go through World of Logs and things like that. So you're going to need to just follow along and go through the tutorial. Okay. One sec. I think the stream, a couple people missing it. It's still stream's still going. The viewers are still here. Just wait for it to come back up for other people, and then we're going to go ahead. Is the stream going for you guys, or what's up? There's a couple people saying it went down, so I want to make sure there's nobody like left behind with this. Okay, people are saying it's working. All right, so we're good. You guys go to that link. Here you go. I'm going to post it again if people like had to leave and come back or whatever. Okay, so again, this is just a World of Logs quick tutorial. So let's look at, we're going to go to damage done here. Let's say that you're a raid leader and you're on progression and you are like, why did that wipe just occur? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of stuff you can tell by a parse that you're not going to be able to tell from recount and things like that. You need to make sure that you have people in the raid that are live parsing. And if you don't know how to live parse, just go to World of Logs and read through some of the FAQs, and they'll be able to explain how that works really easily. If you really don't get it and you need to be walked through how to live parse, shoot me a message on Twitter, and I'll deal with that on a one person at a time basis. Okay, so let's look at this. We're going to go to player deaths here. Let's look at kind of where the whole raid died. Okay, the whole raid died on the 4th platform. Okay. And the reason that, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your mouse and you're going to hover over the area up here. You can drag it and select blue areas, right? Okay, we're going to go to the area that we want to see where all these people are dying. Then you're going to right click after you highlight all of it, and you're going to go to set page to selection, okay? Then once we set page to selection, it's going to come up with just that area, all right? And say, I mean, you know why the wipe occurred. You would, it's because, say, a parasite didn't die. Oh wow! In this case, it's exactly what we're looking at. Okay, so you're going to want to like say things like, or click these icons over here. You want to look at creature deaths. You want to get this as specific as possible. Okay, this corrupting parasite right here did not die in time, and when it blew up, it killed people. Okay, so what you're going to do is, it died right there, so you're just going to select prior to that, and we're going to go in here. We basically want to figure out who did not switch to the parasite. Alright, so we just keep using the zoom in feature on World of Logs and right click and setting to selection. Okay, and the reason I'm showing you how to do this is because, like, say you're on recount and say somebody was just, killing it on the first 2 platforms. They were always switching to the parasite, and it was like, oh, I'm top damage on the parasite. Well, that's cool. Maybe they were top damage on the first 2 or the first 3, and then you get to the 4th platform and they didn't touch it all, but they're still high from the other one. So that's why looking through a parse is going to help you. All right, and I'm telling you this right now. If you're a raid leader and you get to the point where you can start going through parses and showing people things, you're going to have a lot more efficiency out of your raid. And I'm not saying be a dickhead about it, you know. I mean, I'm just saying that people need to know that you're going to hold them accountable for what's going on. You can't have people that are just bullshitting you because they know, you know, you call people's bluff enough time with, you know, proof of them being wrong or whatever. You know, sometimes you're going to be wrong. There's been times where I've been wrong. I've been looking at a parse and like wrongly accused someone, but you know, my average is actually probably pretty good if there was a way to keep track of it. You know, more times than not, you know, you end up finding the correct information out. You know, but you know, keep it real. You're not always going to be right, but yeah. Anyways, we're going to go through here. So what we need to look at is what did I say? Corrupting parasite. What was it? Okay, yeah, corrupting parasite. What you want to do to make sure pets and all that shit, you want to go here, you want to go to damage done, you want to go to analyze, and then you want to go to damage done, okay? So just to make sure you guys are, I'm going to go ahead and link this if you guys are having problems with following along here. That's that. You're going to go to damage done, analyze, and then click on damage done again, okay? So you're going to look, this is just for this segment, this is pets and everything included. That's the reason you want to go to analyze, alright? Now we're going to go to corrupting parasite because that just blew up and caused us a wipe. All right, so I'm going to go to that. Say the meteor hit or something. You could easily select Elementium Bolt. You know, it doesn't matter. You just find what you need to look for. In this case, it's corrupting parasite, and we're going to hit go. All right. So once we're on here, we're going to look and see basically who switched and who didn't. I mean, and my initial reaction is like, let me look at people who should be relatively high. We see here Nadri, who is probably patting his ass off like he normally does on Madness Farm, and it's more or less causing the, you know, corrupting parasite not to die. And you have Juvie, who's really low as well. You know, I mean, you can look down here at the bottom and just see the people who are low. Certain classes are going to be different than other classes. That's just something you have to understand as a raid leader, who's going to be higher than others. Like, let's say, like an Ellie Shaman. You know, they're probably not going to be super high up. I mean, I'm just using that as an example. They may be, that may just be Yappy doing low damage. You just have to go off of, you know, knowing where people should be and things like that. And a perfect example of this is like during progression, when we were on Madness, we were having problems when we got to the 4th platform of congealings not dying, okay? That took one pull because, I mean, you don't need to pull it 6, 7 times and keep having the same mistakes. It took one pull. I knew they should have died. They didn't die. I go into the parse, and I find out. I go through the log browser, and what you can do is like, let's go ahead and go to this. You can go to a log browser. It's in the analyze part. This same category. You go to the log browser. You always remove the initial query. Okay. You want to remove this where there's nothing here. You're going to add query. You're going to go to like, say you just want to see hits, and let's say death, other, and you want to look at corrupting. How do you spell it? Hang on. So, corrupting parasite. Corrupting parasite. Okay, so you're going to go to that, click whatever you need to heal. I mean, if you need to see heals, whatever. You want to go to that being... the actor gives both source and target. If you know it's just like the source or the target, whatever. The target is who it's hitting, source is who it's coming from. So let's put it as a target. Let's hit save, and then we're going to hit run. Okay. So now we're going to be looking at basically everything that happened to the corrupting parasite within the time frame. And you can't have a huge time frame because that you're going to have too much of a log browser. You need to trim it down to a reasonable sample size and go from there. So, and then let's see here. The first thing that happened to it in this log was Yappy got a flame shock up on it. So you know it's going. He's hitting it quickly. Okay, and then you can just go down through here and you can see what's happening. And say you want to look at what's happening during that time. You can just go through a. You can add another query, and then say we want to go to. Let's look at what Nadri was doing during this time frame. Okay, let's see what he did since he was basically non-existent. We're going to go to hit actor. Let's just put him as source, and Let's go here and then hit run and see what's he's going. Okay. Now here we go. We're looking at what Nadri's got going on, and he is VTing all the regenerative bloods. It looks like more padding and things of that nature. Let's see what else is going on here. A lot of let's see, Shadow Word Pain. We got some. He's at least mind spiking, so that's good. Maybe he just switched late. But I mean, you guys get the picture, right? You can look at what each single person is looking at, during the time frame, and this is really important for raid leaders to see because during progression you need to be able to identify problems and fix them quickly instead of just having people keep making the same mistakes. You've got to be able to hold your raid accountable. You've got to be able to explain to people and show them, like, this is what's happening. This is what needs to happen to fix it. It doesn't take, that's why, in like a mid-range guild, people just keep pulling and pulling and pulling. But, you don't have that luxury to just keep pulling and pulling and pulling. You've got to fix problems. So that's, this is a way to directly fix those problems and not have to deal with them. Okay, so there's a ton of stuff you can do with World of Logs. I'm pretty savvy with it, but I'm definitely not the expert. You can go to like the expression editor and go through like some serious crazy shit going on with that, and look at exactly a more in-depth version of the log browser and things like that. But I mean, that's a quick little overview of how to look at the analyze function as well as the log browser and things like that. Okay, so that's just a quick example of how useful World of Logs is as a raid leader. Okay, so it is super important, and that is something that everybody needs to make sure that you're understanding and know how to use. Okay, so that pretty much, I mean, this is the two main things I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to keep it around an hour. We've got 6 minutes left here. I'm going to go ahead and take any other questions that you guys have as far as like raid leading goes, and preferably ones that cover either logs that we went over here, how to use World of Logs, and how to balance, being aggressive or passive really on farm compared to progression content. So if you guys got any questions on that, throw those in here. But another quick thing about logs is you need to make sure that you're pretty much using World of Logs. Okay, some people use WMO. I used to be a fan of WMO, but World of Logs is easily, I mean, there's a lot of different parsing sites out there. For those of you who've been around a bit, you remember like WWS and things like that. But World of Logs is, I mean, it's going to tell you pretty much anything you need to know. There are some problems with it, but if you just have to pick one, that would be my recommendation. Okay. Let's see. Any questions? Like I said, there's a delay on when I'm asking that, but you guys need to ask any questions that you have for these last like 5 minutes that we're going. So while I'm waiting on some questions to pop up, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick recap. Okay, we covered how to balance being aggressive and passive during farm and progression content, how to go over logs and how important logs are during just being a raid leader. All right. Last week we just talked about raid leader one-on-one stuff. I need everybody to understand that every one of these shows that we do, they come on every day, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, which 1700, whatever you want to call it. Each one of these is uploaded to my YouTube. I've got the YouTube set up now where each one will be uploaded to their own specific playlist, and you can go through and watch them in any order. So if you guys haven't subscribed on YouTube, just scroll down. The YouTube link is at the bottom. You click that and hit subscribe, and you can watch this at any point. You can show it to your guild to watch at any point. I mean, there's tons of benefits to these things that we're doing on a weekly basis. Okay, tomorrow is the tank Q&A, where anybody that plays any tank class, warrior, druid, pally, DK, can come in here and ask anything tank related about any content that the game has ever had. Pretty much from Burning Crusade, I can offer first-hand experience on. This Friday, a quick reminder. Real quick, Thursday is the tank one-on-one. We're having Pikachu from Windrunner. He's going to be our tank guest this week. We're going to be going through his logs, his videos, and things like that. But this Friday, Taxus is going to be our special guest. He's a mage in Blood Legion. He'll be going over everything that is mage related, whether that's armories, parses, videos, you name it. And, you know, before you guys are like, LOL, it's a mage, you hit one button. I mean, there's a reason that some mages consistently out DPS other mages. And, you know, I mean, whatever you want to label it, the bottom line is, you know, he's one of the, he's a very good mage, and you can learn a lot from him, okay? So, with that said, I'm going to do a couple of questions here, and then we're going to wrap it up. Would I suggest a semi-10-man running multiple runs like you and do the spreading of mains gear on a tier release, or just focus on all the mains in one group and running? Okay, so basically what you're asking me is, if you're not a guild that's like super hardcore, but you're kind of hardcore, would you split groups during the first week of normals? If you know that you have a really talented group of people and they have a set of alts that's really well geared going into the patch, that first week of normals, you need to understand that that ranking is irrelevant. No one gives a shit who gets US first or world first normal modes, okay? Or EU first, you know, wherever you're from. No one cares, all right? We can't, you need to make sure your guild understands the overall goal, and that's the heroic. That's what's going to stick with your guild for months and months and months until the new content. So my advice would be, if you have the alt gear to do it, then yes, that's what you should pursue. Split the mains right down the middle, you know, split the tier tokens, split the you know, Agi, the strength, and all that users. As a matter of fact, that could be an entire show on its own, and we'll probably throw that in one week, and I can go through and just show you guys how we split raids and all that stuff, and just, you know, be able to show you guys. And it's not anything that I need to worry about teaching someone, because the amount of effort and, you know, time that it requires for it to be able to do that, I mean, it's, you know, nobody's going to be able to just flip a switch and make it happen. You know what I mean? So, yeah, TLDR. Just, I would recommend splitting if you're trying to get as high a rank as you can. You need to split for gear, because gear that first week is super important. Why was I not in Race the World First movie? I did a trailer that's on YouTube, but I wasn't in the film. I was just a member in the guild at the time, and didn't really get involved with the documentary. Would passive be more of a better approach during farm and try and keep people interested in the game? In terms of being passive, they can give a break. Okay, that's a really good question, and you do need to be passive to an extent of just, you don't want to just be ramming things down people's throat to the point to where they're like, man, why am I even logging on and listening to this guy? You've got to keep it balanced, you know what I mean? You can't just be in people's face 24/7, you know, 365. You've got to keep the balance, man, and that's just, it varies depending on the person, and it varies depending on the guild. You know, you do have to keep things disciplined, structured, and organized, but you also have to ensure people enjoy the environment, you know, and that's, it's really easy to do as long as things are going smooth. It gets a lot harder to do when things are in a rough spot. You know, bosses aren't dying as quick as people want them to. People start getting more pissed off at each other and things like that, but I wouldn't say go completely passive, because, like I said, you fight like you train like you fight. If you're super passive and everybody's just holding hands, singing Kumbaya the entire time you're doing farm, don't expect those people just to flip the switch and be able to go, you know, hard in the paint when progression is released. You've got to be able to keep that balance. Okay. Yes, World of Logs is used during progression. All progression logs are private for obvious reasons, but yes, we go through it then. What role do officers do during raids? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you mean like raid leading, or other officers, like Taxis helps call stuff out sometimes. So does Zonker. I mean, it just depends. Zonker's like our add-on guy. He deals with add-ons a lot during raids, like making new add-ons, modifying existing add-ons, and things like that. Everybody's got their niche, and everybody provides their input and things like that. Okay, trying to catch up. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we're pretty much capped on time for the day. I'll try to keep these to about an hour. I will have this uploaded on YouTube tonight before I go to bed, okay? And you guys, if you haven't subscribe to me on YouTube or, you know, Twitter, whatever, scroll down. There's 3 of those big links, man. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys do me a favor, follow me and subscribe to me on those. It really helps me out. It helps me keep doing this, and I want to have this as a weekly deal, man. I want to have something to give to you guys on a weekly basis, and, you know, you guys to learn from, more or less directly from me, and I can answer any questions that you have. If you have any questions that I haven't answered, put them on my Twitter. Make sure to follow me. Make sure you're following this channel first and foremost. And make sure you also subscribe on YouTube if you can, and add me on Facebook. So that wraps up the Raid Leader discussion for the day. We will have more Raid Leader content coming next week. This Friday, again, Attacks is a special guest. If you're a mage, make sure you're there. Tomorrow, Tank Q&A. Thursday is the Tank One-on-One. If you want to enter the Tank One-on-One thing, where you basically are the focus of the daily or weekly segment, the link is at the bottom of the page. You can click on that and enter the contest on Reddit. Okay, so good stuff. I appreciate it. Had a pretty good turnout. Floated anywhere between like 300 and 400 people on average. Yeah, so turned out pretty well. As far as tonight, we're rating main raids tonight. We will have at least 2 8 out of 8 clears, possibly a third adding this week since it's 10%. That's going to be up in the air. So make sure you guys are hanging out. We probably, not promising, but we may have some WoW TCG stuff to give out tonight. Depends if Genocide did her job or not. But if she did, we'll be able to give you guys some more WoW TCG giveaways. And if you guys want to see the giveaways in action, you can go to my Facebook. There's screenshots of them on there. So all in all, thanks for the show, and I'll have the highlight uploaded tonight on YouTube. So good talk.